It's July 20th, 2023. This is the July meeting for the School Board of Directors for the Council Rock School District. I would ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, when you get yourself together, roll call, please.
Sure. Michael Thorward,
Present.
Marion McKee,
Here.
Joseph Hidalgo,
Here.
Ed Solomon,
Here.
Mike Roosevelt,
Here.
Bob Hickey,
Here.
Yoda Pally,
Present.
Stephen Nomis is absent, I assume, right now at this moment, okay? And Edward Tate.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. From there, we'll go to letter D, Superintendent Report. Good evening, Dr. Sanko.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Solomon, school board members, members of our community here with us tonight, and those tuning in on the Council Rock YouTube channel. We're in the height of summer, and with vacations and traveling in full swing, I hope you have safe travels and make fond memories over the next several weeks.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Solomon, school board members of our community.
It's the little voices in your head saying it again.
Is that what that was? Most of you are aware of the recent tragedy that occurred due to the flash flooding last weekend. As an update, we've extended support from Council Rock to the Upper Makefield community. Also, our three Council Rock employee groups have made a donation targeted to helping families affected by the flooding, including those situations we have yet to learn about. A special thank you to the members of our CRESPA, CREA, and CRAA employee groups for their generosity. Finally, we are partnering with Neighborhood Outreach Foundation to make sure our donation directly benefits families who are in the most in need. Thank you to Neighborhood Outreach Foundation for working alongside Council Rock to offer help to those affected. As a district, our thoughts and prayers are with the families of victims. Additionally, we'd like to thank the first responders who have worked tirelessly to bring closure to this difficult situation. Tonight, we will be asking the Board of School Directors for their approval of a donation of a tow-behind trailer from the Council Rock South High School Band Parents Association. This is an extremely generous donation of nearly $50,000, and the trailer will serve band students for many years to come. We'd like to thank the band parents, some with us tonight, for their generosity and support of our music program and for their commitment to our students. Tonight, also, we will be asking the board for an administrative hire recommendation by recommending Dr. Jen Bertagni to replace Dan Griesbaum, who recently retired as the assistant principal at Council Rock North. Jen was chosen from a pool of over 40 applicants, and we proudly welcome her to the Council Rock administrative team. Along with Mr. Truskevich, Council Rock High School North principal, and the other administrators, Jen is joined tonight with her mom and dad, as well as her three children, Charlotte, Olivia, and Parker, all students at Goodnoe Elementary. Jen's children are excited for their mom, I have no doubt. Summer Academy and ESY are in full swing. Our extended school year and Summer Academy programs are well underway successfully, and in each of our visits, we see students surrounded by teaching, learning, friendships, and growth. More importantly, the students are having fun. One of our summer staff recently shared a powerful observation that sums up our summer programs, which was, if anyone wants to see what Students First always looks like in action, it's happening right here in these programs. This is how Council Rock keeps students first. A reminder to parents and student athletes. This is a reminder to parents of students who plan to participate in fall sports that their student athletes are required to have a doctor's physical exam that is dated after June 1st, 2023. If you have questions, please consult the school's athletic page on the Council Rock website or contact the athletic department of your child's school. In the coming weeks, Durham's Bus Zone app will become the only app available to track Council Rock school buses. The app is available for download on the Council Rock website, and a link will also be sent to families within the next week. Bus assignments will be posted when the Home Access Center opens on August 21st. At that time, you will have access to the bus route and your student ID number that you will need to track your child's ride. Please remember that the Stop Finder app used last school year will terminate after ESY ends next week. Just as another note, we are currently running both bus tracking apps for ESY, and right now we have 118 parents using the new app, Durham's Bus Zone app, and they are tracking 78 students successfully. At the June board meeting, Council Rock approved the 2023-2024 property tax and rental rebate program. The district has shared information on this program on the website, through email, and on social media outlets. In order to send a targeted message, the business office has plans for 2 community information sessions. The first will be held Wednesday, August 9th at 7 p.m. The location will be the Village Library of Wrightstown, located at 727 Pence Park Road, Wrightstown, PA. The second information session will be held Tuesday, August 22nd at 3 p.m. at the Northampton Township Senior Center. That address is 165 Township Road, Richboro, PA. I'm happy to report that the Richboro Elementary School renovation project is underway and proceeding smoothly. Items have been moved from Richboro Elementary School to Richboro Middle School as we are preparing to accept students at Richboro Middle School for the start of the 2023-24 school year. Additionally, Soul Finestone renovation project is progressing nicely with an anticipated completion date 2 to 3 months early. Originally, the project was scheduled for completion in October 2024. We now anticipate a completion date of August 2024 in time for the start of the 24-25 school year. A few important dates in the coming weeks. Wednesday, August 9th is the Property Tax and Rental Rebate Program information session, which will be held at the Village Library of Wrightstown at 7 p.m. Thursday, August 10th, in this building, we will have the Finance and Facilities Committee meeting at 7 p.m. Thursday, August 17th, there's a school board meeting in this room at 7 p.m. Monday, August 21st, the Home Access Center opens for students and families. Tuesday, August 22nd, Property Tax and Rental Rebate Program information session to be held at the Northampton Township Senior Center at 3 p.m. Tuesday, September 5th is the first day of school for students in grades K through 6, grade 7, and grade 9. Wednesday, September 6th is the first full day of school for all students in grades K to 12. This is a gentle reminder to the public that the most reliable and accurate and up-to-date information about our district is found directly through the Council Rock resources, websites, and social media sources. As with this and all information regarding the district, we advise the community to be cautious about relying on information from social media platforms not maintained by Council Rock. Our district-maintained sources and platforms are your best source of reliable and accurate information. And before I conclude, I'd like to take a moment for some special recognition. Each year, the Pennsylvania School Board Association honors school board directors who have invested long-term service and dedication to their local districts and communities. On behalf of PSBA, I'd like to share the following. PSBA would like to honor 2 Council Rock school directors for their years of dedication. School board service has long been a crucial part of our nation's legacy and its commitment to public education. As the first school boards association in the United States, PSBA has a rich history with more than 125 years of service. The consummate school directors are described as ethical, principled individuals with a deep desire to serve. They believe in the value of our public schools and local control of public education for the benefit of all students. Today, school districts are expected to offer more services along with a world-class instruction and limited resources. These expectations provide a tremendous challenge for school directors, unpaid volunteers who dedicate their time to the schools and communities they serve. For almost 40 years, PSBA has been acknowledging the contributions of dedicated local school directors with long-term service. The honor roll is the association's way of thanking those individuals who exemplify leadership by giving unselfishly of their time and talents for the betterment of public schools, serving students across the Commonwealth. PSBA is very pleased to honor the following school directors for being part of this rich legacy with 8 years of service. I would like to thank and congratulate Mr. Edward Tate and Dr. Michael Thorwart for their service to the Council Rock School District. Along with all of our board members, past and present, you have contributed greatly to making Council Rock the exemplary school district it is. And at this time, I would like to present the PSBA certificate to Dr. Thorwart and Mr. Tate. And if you would just give us a minute for a picture or two, I'd appreciate that. Congratulations once again, Mr. Tate and Dr. Thorwart. And Mr. Solomon, that concludes the superintendent's report.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sanko. From there, we'll go to the solicitor report. Tonight, we're joined by Mrs. Dion.
Thank you. Okay. I would like to report that there was an executive session at 6 o'clock prior to this meeting for the discussion of a personnel matter. And in addition, there was a written solicitor report that was submitted, and there are no additions to that.
Great. Thank you, ma'am. From there, we'll go to public comment. Mr. Frederickson, is there anybody on the list? Thank you very much. From there, we'll go to letter G, approval of the meeting, minutes of the meeting of the board from June 22nd. Mr. Hickey, would you mind doing that?
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting of the School Board of Directors held on June 22nd, 2023.
Second, I heard Dr. Thorwart. Is there any comments from the board or any objections? Hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous. From there, folks, just bear with us. We're going to bounce down to the personnel actions this evening, and we're going to move them up. Which is letter O and P. Yeah, would you mind, Mr. Tate? That's your usual ballywick, if you will.
And move to approve the personnel actions as contained in the attachment to this agenda. And I move to approve the personnel actions addendum as contained in the attachment to this agenda.
Second, please.
Second.
Second, Mr. Roosevelt. Any comments from the board on those personnel actions? Hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark all of them unanimous. Dr. Sanko, back to you.
Dr. Bertagni, congratulations and welcome aboard. You do have to come to the podium because I promised your kids they could run up there and take a picture of you.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to say thank you. I had the opportunity to work at North for a few months last year, and I really fell in love with the atmosphere and the team there and the staff and the students, and I'm very excited to be permanently joining their team over there, and I can't wait to get started on Monday.
Congratulations and welcome. Charlie, I heard your mom promised to take you for ice cream after this. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Folks, you can stay or you can go. You want a picture?
Jen, you want to bring your family up for a picture real quick?
Yeah.
Why don't we have the North administrators come up as well? We'll have Jen get one with her family first, and then with the team at North. Let's get Jen's mom and dad in there, too.
I will look to see if we send anything.
All right, good. All right. Good, folks? All right, we're going to move to letter H. This is the appointment of voting delegates for the PSBA Delegate Assembly. It'll be 3 representatives from Council Rock. One is going to be our secretary, and then there's going to be 2 board members. This will go into next year. Knowing it's an election year for school boards, I'd highly recommend somebody stepping up that's going to definitely be here next year. Mr. Hickey, Mr. Roosevelt, or Ms. Pally. We do need 2 additional members, please.
I'll volunteer.
And Mr. Hickey? Okay. Dr. Thorpe, make a motion for Donna Heverly, Mike Roosevelt, and Bob Hickey, please.
I move to approve the following 3 voting delegates for the PSBA Delegate Assembly comprising of Donna Heverly, Bob Hickey, and Mike Roosevelt.
Second.
Second, Mr. Tate. Is there any further comment or objection to that? No. Hearing none, we'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous. From there, we'll move down to Education Committee. Good evening, Mrs. McKay.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Salmon. I have no committee report as we have not met, but in the coming weeks, I will be meeting with administration to plan our agenda items for the upcoming school year's Education Committee meetings. Our next committee meeting will be on October 28th. Furthermore, I move to approve consent agenda items B through K as contained in the attachments to this agenda.
Second.
Second, Dr. Thorwart. Is there any comment from the board? Any objections? I just have we'll just, no comment, no objections. Have the secretary mark that unanimous. I do have a question. Mr. Devlin, if you wouldn't mind. And I've been asked this by some community members and just think it's a great time to have this conversation. As you go through this board doc, you'll see New Hope Academy, you'll see Keystone Freedom Academy, you'll see different settlement agreements. Can you give a high-level overview with, obviously your solicitor's here, she's not going to let you go too far. Just can you give the public a sense how that money is being spent, how we come to conclusions on this? In my years on the board, it's not an apples-to-apples, year-to-year thing, and a lot depends on the individual that is falling in line with the settlement or whatever. But it has come up on my conversations, if you would have, if you mind, if you're prepared, that is, I'm sorry.
I'm prepared
Okay, great.
for bringing this up. I think, first of all, the general public would be amazed at the services that we provide to our students here internally every day. We really serve some students with significant needs. However, there are times when there are complex medical needs, there are some significant behavioral needs where we would need to look for alternative placements or placements outside of the school building. In the past, you may have noticed that maybe there were funds listed next to settlement agreements, et cetera. I just want you guys to know these funds represent an encumbered value that covers either tuition or related services for multiple years. It's just not a one-year deal.
Okay, because, and I mean, when you just look at this on face value, it's a lot. There's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it, and you'll notice too that each year, the practice would be to continue to contract with these outside providers. So it's not that we're adding new students in. Some of these providers, we have no students there, but we just have that option open in the event that we need to utilize these services.
Great, I appreciate that. I do. Anybody else? From there, we're going to move down to the Bucks County IU update. Ms. Pally, are you prepared for an update, ma'am?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, indeed. It's like 2:30 in the morning here, so it's early morning. So the last IU board meeting was last Tuesday, the 18th. So first I want to give you an update about the Red Cedar properties. We discussed about it in our last board meeting. This is the properties that are owned by the 12 Bucks County School Districts. So as of July 13th, all 12 owned districts have authorized to move forward with the demolition of the properties. So based on this, the IU met with the Schrader Group to secure the next steps. So following the necessary meetings, permit submissions and approvals, we anticipate that the actual demolition may begin in late August, early September, and that it will be completed by October 15th. On the separate item, the IU was asked by the Pennsylvania Department of Education to help distribute the notice that the PA State Board of Education will host a public hearing to receive input.
Matt, did we lose her? Ms. Pally, can you hear me?
Consumer Sciences. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we lost you a little bit. That's fine.
Hello? Okay, sorry about that. So the hearing, I was talking about the hearing for the Pennsylvania Department of Education. This will take place on September 14th at Montgomery County IU 23. And the IU is trying to spread the word out on this. Please let me know if we lose the connection. So a third item, the IU board unanimously approved the contracts with the Technology Pool Council Consortium member school entities for pro rata sharing of about total of $11,274, including administrative fees, until June of 2024. So the IU has facilitated an opt-in county-wide consortium for this service on behalf of the interested school entities. So each member's pro rata share will not exceed $807. And the entities that participate in the consortium will receive one annual training in service or group meeting, 2 half-day trainings and/or face-to-face consultation, and electronic mail opinions and advice concerning technology-related issues. So this item is on the Council Rock agenda today for approval under Finance Item N. So it looks like a lot of services that are available under this consortium for less than $807. Next, the IU board approved a service agreement with the Middlebucks Institute of Technology to provide video production services until, until June 30th of next year at the cost of $500 per day on an as-needed basis. And this is a continuation of an agreement that's currently in place that has been working very well with the Bucks Institute of Technology. Also, the IU board approved the agreement with Council Rock to provide assistance to the district for the human resources director search process through the end of the year. And this agreement has already been approved by our board in our last meeting. Finally, the IU board approved the assignments for the directors to the various committees, and I'm now the chair of the IU Finance Committee and also a member of its Policy Committee. The next IU board meeting is scheduled for August 15th. That concludes my report.
Great, thanks, Mrs. Bally. From there, we'll go to MBIT, letter M. Mr. Hickey, Dr. Thorwart, whoever. I guess it's Mr. Hickey.
The Executive Council did not meet in the month of July, so there is nothing to report, and hopefully we'll have something next month.
Great, thank you. From there, we'll go to letter N, Council Rock Education Foundation, Mr. Tate.
Golf.
It was canceled, correct?
Postponed.
Postponed, I apologize.
Which actually is a great thing.
For October.
Because, yeah, October 23rd, and that means there are opportunities this fall for those who haven't signed up to play golf on one of the finest golf courses in this region. And you'll definitely hear more about it as the date gets closer.
Great, looking forward to it. From there, we'll move to finance. Ed, are you going to do that, or is Ms. Pally going to do it?
I'm going to.
Okay.
I will handle finance.
Great, thank you, sir.
Ms. Pally asked me to do that. So Finance Committee last week was canceled due to a very light agenda. The board was informed of several matters in the interim, and there are a number of motions here that we're going to discuss, and I will begin with the consent agenda. I move to approve consent agenda items B through D as contained in the attachments to this agenda.
Second.
Second, Dr. Thorwart. Is there any comment or objections from B to D in finance? Hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous.
E. Maureen W. Welsh Elementary Camera Additions. I move to approve the installation of cameras to the Maureen W. Welsh Elementary location per the attached proposal.
A second on that?
Second.
Dr. Thorwart, is there any comment from the board about the purchase, not necessarily about where they're being put? Nope. Hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous as well. Letter F, sir.
I move to approve the independent contractor agreement with Council Rock School District as attached to this agenda per solicitor's review and subject to audit.
Second,
that
please.
one.
Dr. Thorwart again. Is there any comment from the board? Any objection from the board? I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous as well. Letter G.
I move to authorize the administration to enter into an agreement to rent and install a chiller for the former Richboro Middle School building for 3 months at a cost not to exceed $150,000, subject to solicitor's review and audit. I'll just note that this is an action that is necessary due to a failure of the current chiller for the air conditioning system at Richboro Middle School. Do you wish to add anything, Dr. Senko?
I'll take it, Tony. So the chiller at Richboro Middle School, thanks, Mr. Tate, is about 60 years old, and it failed. So that building is constructed in a way that the windows do not open. And as I just mentioned in the superintendent's report, we will be moving our Richboro Elementary School population into that building in the fall. So since windows don't open, temperatures are what they are, we want to have the board's approval to move forward to get some remedy as we prepare to move the Richboro Elementary School community into that building.
Thank you.
Sure, Mr. Hildago.
What happens after 3 months? Because it's, I mean, and we're saying not to exceed, I'm thinking $50,000 for a month, that's, you know, $1,500 a day. What's the long-term plan? And it seems like a lot of money. Just let the public know what's up.
So we're looking at 3 options. We're looking at a rebuild option, which at least the 3 vendors we've spoken to, not anyone is recommending to rebuild because, as I said, it's about 60 years old. That's option 1. Option 2 is a replacement cost. That is several hundreds of thousands of dollars, and before we bring that to you, we need more detail and more estimates on it. And then the third option is the rental option, where we would be able to rent a unit, hook it up, and then pay by month for the rental. So we hope to be able to get something in place for the start of the school year and come back to you with more detailed information on all 3 of those options.
So I think that's my question. If it only cost a few $100,000, let's say $300,000 to replace, to rent an item for half that price for 3 months, it just doesn't add up. And I'm going to approve it because this is a not to exceed, and I trust you guys know what you're doing. But if it costs, if it's even a $500,000 item that lasts 60 years, they're charging that much money for rent?
The issue with that is if we were to purchase a new chiller, the lead time that they would need to so far we've gotten 1 cost of a new chiller, which is we're trying to get 2 more. The one that we got so far told us we would have a lead time of at least 42 weeks. So we would still need to rent the chiller for the fall and probably start of some of the spring.
Yeah, and our kids will be out of Richboro Middle School in 42 weeks. Well, not within reason. If that's a real 42 weeks.
Yes.
I mean, well, they're going to be there 18 months, but I mean, 42 weeks that's scary.
Yes, that's
because that it could expand very quickly.
So if it's going to take 42 weeks to get the chiller, we're not replacing that in 3 months. We're stuck renting it.
We are stuck renting it, even if we came to you tonight with a price that the board was agreeing to and saying put a new chiller in. If we ordered it today, based on the one vendor that we've received feedback from, it's a 42-week lead time.
So we're going to be back in 3 months asking for, let's say, another 3 months at $150,000, not to exceed $150,000 for the next 4 years?
If I may.
Thank you.
We don't need a chiller in the winter or the fall. We only need it to chill. So if I'm reading this right, August, September, and October, we need air conditioning in that building. Then it's cold, we don't need air conditioning, we need heat. And then in the spring, May and June, we need air conditioning. So there's a gap in the middle where we won't need to rent one because we're not chilling air or heating air. So yes, they'll come back in the spring, but there's a substantial gap in the middle where we're switching to heat and the chiller is not part of the heat system.
How many months you need a chiller out of the year?
When kids are in school, I think 6, 5 to 6.
Okay.
And just, Mr.
$50,000 a month.
Also that there is a cost to install the rental unit plus the monthly rental.
It's a big problem, thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I
Mr. Hickey, please.
I agree, Joe, that we're kind of between a rock and a hard place, but the other choice is, since we've already committed to moving those kids, is to once again have them, the Richboro community, without air conditioning in the school at a situation probably much worse than what they've ever experienced in the prior 30 years, because at least that way you could open windows, there was some air conditioning and ventilation. So this would even be a worse situation. I don't want to say our hands are kind of tied as to what we can do unless, there's a place to move that Richboro community, which has already is being relocated to that middle school. It's just an unfortunate event that happened, which, like I said, I guess we'll just wait for some of the options to come in and see what we have, hopefully next month.
Yes, that's the plan, to have more options available for us next month.
Dr. Thorwart?
I'm not calling the question, but after we vote, Mr. Rapp had indicated there may be another problem. So let's close this one.
Anybody else? Joe, you good? Yeah, okay. Any objections to this motion? I thought it was Dr. Thorwart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion was read by
Second.
Mr. Tate, seconded by Dr. Thorwart. All right, is there any objections? We've had comments. I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous consent. From there, if we could just jump in real quick. Mr. Rapp, you want to make a comment so we can move forward with another motion, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Solomon. The Newtown Elementary School has, their air conditioning system has 3 compressors that work in tandem, and one of the compressors is broken beyond repair and needs to be replaced. As it stands right now, the 2 compressors are able to air condition the parts of the building that are occupied at this time. But once school starts, it's not going to be able to carry the load of a full elementary school. So in order to get that in place to get the new compressor in place before the start of school, we're asking to add an additional purchase of a compressor for Newtown Elementary School in an amount, to authorize administration to purchase a compressor for Newtown Elementary School in an amount not to exceed $50,000. And that way it'll be in place by the time school starts, so that the building will be fully air conditioned in time for school.
Or before,
Use the prior.
that's fine. You want to do that?
Yeah, I'll just.
So just don't read Richboro Middle again.
I got it. Are we ready? Okay.
No, just 1 second. So G is as is. Okay. So we're actually creating a motion for this. Okay. So Mrs. Dion is asking to make a motion to add this to the agenda. And then we will make a motion for the item. Does that make sense? Okay. Thank you.
I move to add to this evening's agenda an item to address the air conditioning problem at Newtown Elementary School.
I'll second that.
Second, Dr. Thorwart. Any comment from the board? Any objections? Hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous. Then now the motion for the item, please.
I move to authorize the administration to enter into an agreement to purchase a compressor for the Newtown Elementary School air conditioning system at a cost not to exceed $50,000, subject to solicitor's review and audit.
Second.
Second, Mr. Roosevelt. Are you good with that? Okay. Is there any other further conversation?
One, please. We talked about 42-week lead time for the compressor. I don't like, for the chiller, you're right. I don't like doing this, but the lead time for a compressor is, well, not 42 weeks. It's going to be weeks, and then we have to get it installed. So there's some urgency here, and that's why we've asked the solicitor to, weigh in on how we do this cleanly.
Yeah, and I'll just quickly add that when we put this document out for the public to see, this was not a conversation piece. This has just come to light, and I guess things have a way of happening. But I'm fortunate that we're here this evening to be able to put this on the agenda and get it approved and giving you the bandwidth to get it in for the new school year. So nothing was missed here. This is
Anyone with an aging HVAC unit notices they fail when it gets really hot out, which is what we've got. So,
yeah. All right. Any other comment for Newtown Elementary School? All right. Hearing none, I'll ask the Secretary to mark that new motion unanimous. From there, we'll go to letter H.
I move to approve the St. Mary's Medical Center team doctor contract, subject to solicitor's review and audit.
Second.
A second, Mr. Hickey. Any comment from the board? This is a format. Oh, you have a comment, Joe?
I did have a quick question that it says that, Mr. Rapp, there's no additional cost for this, and the language does talk about insurance agreements, a liability insurance in place, but that's not costing us anything. We already have these insurances. It's not in addition to what we already have.
Yes, it's not in addition to what we already have.
Okay.
There's no cost. This is part of their community outreach.
All right, thank you.
And this was always like a handshake type of deal. Now we want it solidified with a document, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Pending solicitor review.
Correct, of course. Any other comment from the board? Hearing none, I'll ask the Secretary to mark that unanimous consent. This is a good one. Mr. Tate, please continue.
I move to approve the donation from the CR South Band Parents Association, subject to solicitor's review and audit.
A second on this?
second.
Dr. Sank.
Second is Dr. Thorwart. Okay, Dr. Sanko, please.
I referenced this in the superintendent's report, and we have several of the band parents here who've been responsible for raising the money. Mr. Burns is here, and I just want to, again, on behalf of the district, particularly the kids of the district, say thank you. This is an enormous donation of nearly $50,000, and I expect that trailer will provide a lot of good memories and a lot of good things for many students beyond our time in Council Rock. So thank you.
Can I just say?
Yeah. We didn't approve it yet.
I have, no, but I have.
What are you doing?
I have to say something.
Please, Joe, go ahead.
So my friend Mark, he's been, Mark Cebulski, he's been like a parent for a long time. And I think every conversation we had at football games, he mentioned, when are we going to get a trailer? I said, I don't know, man. I could try, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then you guys came around and raised 50 grand is huge. So that just goes why we're #1 music school district in the nation, because of a good community. So we thank you guys a lot. And I know Mark's tickled, and I don't have to listen to it anymore. He's just going to show it off. So just want to say thank you.
Yeah, and just real quick, when this came to the board's attention not that many weeks ago, and then I've met with you folks privately in a separate conversation, and it's never lost on me as a board member the amount of donations that this district on a regular basis, year in and year out, whether it's CREF, you folks at $50,000, which is astounding, and I've often, and I will continue to mention our PTOs that work around the district that are constantly raising money for our kids. This is the type of newsworthy stuff that we need to read about, especially in light of all the negative things that are out there about what's going on in other school districts and just in general. This is tremendous. These kids are going to have this for years. I would hope they maintain it and treat it like, not their bedroom, because we know what their bedrooms look like, but treat it like it's their own, because the amount of work that went into doing this is extraordinary. $50,000 from one building from a parents group. And that, if that doesn't say it's all about the kids, nothing does. So congratulations. It's my honor to have this approved and get it expedited and get it ordered so the kids can get it as soon as possible. So is there any other comments from the board? All right, hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous now. Thank you. Congratulations. Go home. Enjoy it. Can't wait to see it. Thank you again. Have a great summer. From there, we'll go to letter J. Mr. Tate, please.
I move to approve the E-rate compliance service agreement with CMS Consulting, Inc., subject to solicitor's review and audit.
A second, please.
Second.
Second, Dr. Thorwart. Any comment from the board? Hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous as well. Letter K, sir.
I move to approve the Follett Destiny Solution Agreement, subject to solicitor's review and audit.
Any comment from the board? Mr. Frederickson, jump in if you need to add on any of these.
Hey, listen, I'll second before we go into.
Yeah, go. Thanks, Dr. Thorwart. Okay. Any other comment? Already asked, hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous from there. Mr. Tate, please.
I move to approve the Next Request LLC software agreement, subject to solicitor's review and audit.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Dr. Thorwart. Is there a comment from the board? Mr. Thorwart, I'm sorry, Mr. Roosevelt, please.
I just would like to note and ensure that we still have both our solicitor's eyes on this as well as our internal eyes on this. Automation's important, but also accuracy and completeness is important. So as we move to a form of automation, it's important to make sure that the computer's doing what we tell it instead of we doing what the computer tells us. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else? Is there any objections to this? Hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous as well, please. Mr. Tate, continue.
I move to approve the Nutanix bid 2223, or rather 2322, subject to solicitor's review and audit.
Have a second.
Second.
Dr. Thor. Is there any comment from the board on this subject matter?
Yeah, Mr. Frederickson, this one's a little sparse in terms of what the public sees for documentation. Can you give us a two-sentence overview?
Sure. Several years ago, we invested in something called hyperconverged technology, which consolidates the servers and the storage and the networking. This is simply additional disk space. As we've been implementing camera systems across the district, in order to keep up with the installations, we've been virtualizing some of the servers until the physical servers arrive. This just allows us to do that more efficiently.
There you go. 2 seconds or less.
Yeah.
Again, no, I know.
This one was a little gray.
There's not much there.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else from the board comment? Right, hearing none, I'll ask the secretary to mark that unanimous from there. Mr. Tate, please.
I move to approve the 2023-2024 Technology Pool Consortium Agreement with Bucks County Intermediate Unit, subject to solicitor's review and audit, and as Ms. Pally presented to us a moment ago.
Great. Have a second on that, please. Oh, Mr. Odago, thank you. Any comment from the board? Matt, can you just give me a quick overview on this, please?
Sure. In addition to providing additional other services, the IU has created a consortium agreement with Sweet Stevens, which is a legal firm, for the IT directors. During the year, we get a lot of questions come up where we would ask questions about, I don't know, right-to-know requests or changes in laws in terms of FERPA or COPA or those things. And what this does is this gives us not a free resource, but a resource that we can send as many emails as we want, questions. And any IT director belongs to the consortium. When they send a question, it gets answered, and then the answer gets broadcast to all the other IT directors. Additionally, it gives us, I believe it's 15 to 20 hours of Mr. Waltz's time during the year. In the past, we've had him come down and provide updates to the administration on changes. For example, one of the things that we're looking forward to this year is probably an update on the use of AI in the classroom.
Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, I'll just make a comment. I voted no the last time, and I will be voting no for the same reasons this time, so let's have a roll call.
Okay, can I have a roll call on this, please?
Ed Tate,
Yes.
Michael Thorward,
No.
Marion McKee,
Yes.
Joseph Hidalgo,
No.
Ed Solomon,
Can you come back to me, please?
Mike Roosevelt,
No.
Bob Hickey,
No.
Yoda Pally,
Yes.
and back to Mr. Solomon.
It really doesn't matter. I'll be a no on this as well.
Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 no's and 3 yeses, so the motion fails.
So
I neglect,
Can you please explain the people that voted no, because I don't really understand the reason. Could you explain why you voted no? Because for $800, it seems like we're getting a lot of services that would otherwise would cost a lot of money to the district, because we will have to pay separately for all these like legal hours. So I understand the vote is done, but I just want to understand the rationale behind.
Sure, I'll start. I voted no the last time because the law firm that did this gave, in my opinion, very bad guidance during COVID that kept kids out of school for a very long time. And I don't have any reason to think this will be better. So I am, in my opinion, voting no.
anybody else?
I mean, is it the same for the other people?
Is this the common practice to question and answer every vote? I think we've got a majority on this, and the no's were consistent from previous years. I suggest we move on.
No, I think I have the right to understand, since I represent the IU, I have the right to understand why the Council Rock refused. I understand that the majority is no. I just want to understand the rationale. And I think I have the right to know that, Mr. Result.
Anybody else? Sure, please.
I'm rather surprised that this has occurred, and I'm like Mrs. Pally. I'm puzzled as to why this technology agreement that has served the district well, apparently, according to our administration, is being voted down for a reason that doesn't seem directly associated. So I'll just say that I'm puzzled and disappointed.
Okay, anybody else? Dr. Thorward, I neglected to do policy committee. Can we go back up to policy committee, please?
I didn't call you on it because the policy committee has not met. I do know that Mr. Frederickson and the administration are working on some policies. When they're ready, we'll meet and/or bring them to the board.
Okay. We'll slide all the way down. We did personnel actions from there. Public comment, has anybody signed up? Mr. Frederickson? I don't believe so.
I'll go check, but I don't believe so.
No.
No, sir.
Okay, from there, we'll move to board new business. Any new business of the board? Any old business of the board?
Yes, I would like to say something.
Please.
So, going back to this last vote, I just want to make a comment just for the record that the majority of the board voted against the consortium, and for reasons that are not logical to me, and that this vote will cost a lot of money to the district that would be much more than $800 that the consortium provides. So it's, people can make their own, understand, they can create their own opinions and understanding why something that is COVID related is used as an excuse for a decision that is not financially sound. I just wanted to have that comment on record. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Pally. Anybody else? Okay, I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.